Hello there, this is Cookies. I have turned 74 of MA Naba, and we've got a whole bunch of events now. So we've started recruiting more Serpent Fiends and Bone Fiends to help with blood hunting patrolling. Its a counter thug has cast Cloud Trapeze. We did a scrying pool, so we'll check that out. He also teleported It's a Dry Heat, and yeah, we're gonna see what we can do. So we've got two magic phase attacks. First up is one at Silver World. So for this particular one, we're trying to jump on this guy. Now this guy it's a different thug. And Kirby's equipped him with an Evening Star, +6 attack, armor piercing with a armor negating weakness effect on AoE 1. And there's doesn't look like an MR check on this, so it just happens. Alright, so that's a pretty cool weapon. Then we have the Mirror of Long Lost Battles, which gives him 8 parry, 22 protection shield, and some kind of like distraction chaff. He's also equipped with an ice helmet, armor meteoritic iron, where he's got +3 MR, a ton of protection, so he's up at 32 protection now. He's got Chains of Reconstruction for regen. So this guy is 32 protection, 144 hit points, with 19 MR and 50 morale. So extremely tough thug. And let's see. Let's go ahead and see what we've brought. So we brought a Horde from Hell. We've brought this Shaitan named Go to Hell. And what this Shaitan's going to attempt to do is send It's a counter thug to the Inferno. So the Shaitan's brought some Blood Slaves. He's got a few Vine Men to help, protect himself a little bit. And I think that's it. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into this one. So we can see that all the little imps have jumped on this guy. Now they're not really going to be able to hurt him. Their 5 damage claws are not going to be able to pierce through 34 protection. Well, I say that, but it takes an incredible roll for that to happen. We can go ahead and take a look. Maybe it's some sort of crit. Here we go. So, yeah, armor defeating hit. Now, the Marble Oracle still had 25 protection even then. So the imp had to get a hit and roll +24 to get 6 points of damage. Increased to 8. So that's an example of the odds going against them on exploding 2d6. Unfortunately, this guy, let's see, trying to find my Shaitan. Oh, it looks like maybe I needed some sort of attack script. So he's just not quite close enough. So he's gone off script a bit and done damage reversal. So this guy must be back deployed. Yeah, Nest of Salamanders is not the answer. Oh, here we go. He finally comes up now that he's used all of his... Oh, he still has 3 Blood Slaves. And uses them all for reinvigoration. Oh no. But he does blind this guy. So that lowers him down to, well, he's got Spirit Sight, so I don't think it matters. Some Incinerate. Done a little bit of damage, but his regen, he's regening 15 around. So, yeah, this guy really needed to use the 3 Blood Slaves to do the send him to the Inferno. We lose the Devil. Bonds of Fire not doing anything, but he keeps casting it. Alright, we retreat. So that was a little bit of a scripting error. We lose our Devil, 11 imps, so that's sad. But we can learn from this. And then in Tunnels of the Lost, we've got another Horde from Hell. We've got, this time, it's a counter thug, the Ifrit. So he's got a flask of holy water and a gate cleaver. So he's blessed, gets the defense. So he's got some reasonable stats and a 52 damage gate cleaver, which is armor negating. And then I've also brought It's a Dry Heat. So let's go ahead and see what we do. I'm going to attempt to use Blink in this fight, and we'll see how that goes. But first off, I go ahead and doom this guy. So he's cursed. Do have some cavemen here. Some of the imps have jumped on this guy. Now this one in particular has a Carmine Cleaver, which is armor piercing, and he's got burn flesh. So that is a fire shield effect where it does 20 armor piercing fire damage, which is pretty gnarly. Also has some armor, has Chains of Reconstruction for regen, but it also has Boots of Grasping Earth, which does some auto-casting Earth Grip. So, pretty cool. Alright, so what I did was I cast Blink, so he could have gone anywhere on the map, and so the script was Doom, Blink, Control, Blink, Control. And so this time he did manage to blink within range, but the control ended up not quite rolling. The Oracle rolled a +20. It was already, going to be a difficult roll with the Glyph, but, it was worth it. We had a chance to try and steal him. And we blink again, and I think we go way over there. So definitely out of range this time. And now he does quickness instead. The imps have left. Unfortunately, this guy is not charged in just yet. Looks like he was busy killing cavemen. Nope, the cavemen are still here. Alright, so we've killed the cavemen. Unfortunately, we've lost our imp chaff. We might be getting close to HP routing, although we do have 100 HP on the Pretender. Now, this time we did have Ritual of Returning. So we hit this guy for 39, make him lose his Carmine Cleaver, so he loses his Fire Shield. This guy gets hit by Holy Avenger, so loses his Unseen trait, but it's okay. This guy's only got an 11 attack fist for 19, whereas this guy has a 15 defense, so he should do fairly well at dodging. Get another good hit in. He's missing though. Just need to hit a little more consistently. He's only got 6 defense. How are we not hitting this guy every time with 15 attack? Missed versus a defense roll of 28. Gosh, some incredible defense rolls from the Marble Oracle. 27 off of this. Little, pretty unlucky. See if we can gain some ground. We do get hit by it for 10 astral fires, so the pretender hurting the thug. There we go, making some progress. I'm down to 57. And we rout. So this is on round 21. Pretty unfortunate. We were very close to killing this guy. But looks like our guy has lost his nerve, even though he's 46 fatigue with Phoenix Pyre. So he has nothing to fear. He does go ahead and rout, which routs my Divine Glyph. I'm thinking it was an HP rout. That little bit of damage might have pushed them over a threshold. So, and of course, this guy's right back up to 100 HP now because he's not getting consistently damaged. Slow does literally nothing here. Let's see. Blindness, that's okay. Can blind him for the future. Alright, and we get sent home. Let's see. So we retreat successfully. Get most of our imps back. We do lose the devil. Alright, so these were 2 fairly expensive magic phase attacks that just didn't quite work. But we did take some valuable lessons from this, and I think in the future we'll be able to get them to work. Just probably needed, for the Ifrit, probably needed to put him on attack larger or attack rear, something like that. Maybe he just, he might have had attack rear, and he just got caught up on the cavemen for too long. So, yeah, and the Ifrit retreated successfully. And the Shaitan retreated successfully. Alright. Do find a magic site, and this one's pretty cool. So this is Seer's Grave. It reveals magic score graphs, so I'll be able to show those. So that's fun. And yeah, we do have a few more battles to show off. So first up, Balwin's going to go ahead and attack Umpholia. A little bit of a counterattack. And he's attacking Vanarus, played by Zan. So it looks like we just have some chewed Herdman Berserkers. So they have Berserker +2, so they get pretty good attack skill, very high damage, or pretty high damage, and pretty decent protection. So when they go Berserk, they're kind of maybe like somewhere around the same killiness as Knights, with similar protection, 17 hit points, just without the mount. So very good units. I like them. Over here, we have a bunch of Anathemet Dragons. And very little mile gear. We have a boots of 7 mile strides and a fire in a jar. And no gems. So just a bunch of fire 3, earth 1s going to town. This is a lot of mage support, so I expect this to work for Balin. Although, probably would have been better if these guys were on hold and attack, but that way you'd get some more evocations in as they ran up. But still works out. In the below, we go ahead and attack Agartha. So we've got a little raiding party of Jangard. And it's just 1 PD, so go ahead and clear this out. In Mountains of Mist, we're going to go ahead and move back on the fort. So we've got our army here. We've got some giants. We're trying to figure out what can hit hard enough. These guys have a grab and swallow, which could also be useful. We've got this thug, the unanimator. I saw Kirby naming a couple of his thugs, so I started trying to name mine. We've got our communion of Ugrib. We've got a Malika and Posh Spice. So they're gonna do a bunch of the big battlefield magic off of the communion of Mukarib. I've also brought a Sahir. And he's, I think, gonna also join the communion, maybe do some buffs and anti-magic. And we've gone ahead and added in some more commanders. The main goals that we're trying to hit are Army of Giants off of this guy, Rush of Strength, but not from that guy, probably a different one. And that's to get us up to around 30 damage, and then we want to paint Weapons of Sharpness for the armor piercing, and that'll cancel out the kind of like Temper Flush style resistance that the statues have. And at about 30 damage will be about their protection, which means we can chip damage them. I've made a bunch of these Adites because they hit slightly harder. They do 2 more damage than the Jangard. So that's why I'm bringing them. They're actually more likely to kill the statues. And I'm also planning to paint Gift of the Furies, and that'll give them better attack skills, so hopefully they hit consistently enough to knock through the regen on the statues. And a little bit more morale so they can stay in combat with those statues. And I think that's a good deal of it. So I think this guy might be our Rush of Strength caster. Yeah, because he's got the Blood Dagger, Bloodthorn. But we're just fighting some PD here, not a big deal. Just run over that. And then in the halls, we've got his little counter raiding party of statues, and you can see how tough these are. When they're layered with buffs in an army, they get up to around 32 protection, or 30 protection, somewhere around there. Maybe 30 to 40 HP, and they have regen. And he'll also paint the bludgeoning resistance. So it's definitely, they're extremely hard to kill. They gave us a hard time in our last battle. So we're trying to cater our magic a bit more for them. And he's got a couple of mages here to lead this group around, some heavy infantry to bodyguard. Now, in terms of this is our Shaitan that jumped on the thug, and he retreated here. And so he's going to go ahead and try to help out here, but I probably need him to run away. So Yeah, so his morale breaks. And hopefully, yeah, he does get away. Let's see if he is able to retreat. I think it's here. Retreated successfully to the below. Alright, so I think we're good there. In Smothered Arc, we've got another fight. Let's see, we've got an Earth Reader. Doing some M's. Is there anything else? Oh, he's just the Earth Reader. Oh, but the imps retreated. I think we'll be okay, though. We do have this group of Janguard. We have no undead leadership, which is why the imps retreated. Alright, we go kill that Earth Reader. And then in Ashlands, we've got Pyrene or Pyrenees, however you want to say that. They're storming an Olmish fort. So inside the Olmish fort, got a collection of mages, a few guardians, who are pretty cool. They have black halberds, which have a Bane of Heresy effect, which affects gods and sacred units with fatigue, armor-piercing fatigue damage. And then they've also got just a very hard-hitting weapon for 27 damage. They take buffs pretty well. They have okay magic resistance, like just human levels magic resistance, but very good protection at 23 and pretty good attack at 15. It's also got some mages. So let's go ahead and see what everyone's got. Pyrenees brought a ton of gear. He's got these arcane lenses for increased casting range. So, and he's got this Sorgino with a bunch of air gems for probably big air buffs. In here, it looks like not a ton of scripting put into this. He hasn't pulled these lanterns off. Let's see, we've got a couple of ice devils. This one's probably doing anti-magic. We've got a golem thug with a gate cleaver. Okay, and a ring of returning. So he's pretty safe. We've got a gnome, witch's ointment, storm immunity, and flying. Oh, that's neat. Okay. So he's got a bunch of these, actually. So we've got Father Illerith, probably to do a big, like, marble army or something. Fairy Queen for maybe Wailing Winds. And we've got some Acker Belts. So we've got Cornucopias, we've got Thistle Maces, Moonvine Bracelets for all the big nature buffs. There's a whole suite of buffs that you often want from nature in the late game. Relief, Army of Giants, Army Regen, and Serpent's Blessing fairly frequently. I wouldn't expect Foul Vapors from Ulm, but it doesn't mean you want to expose your army to the possibility of getting Foul Vapors, especially since Ulm has a bunch of Tartarians, which could give some unusual magic paths. So, yep. So I'm expecting a lot of buffs out from this army and probably minimal casualties. Wailing Winds, Darkness, Blood Rain, Relief. You saw Army of Giants come out. Everything's larger now. Fog Warriors or Army of Mist, whatever it's called now. I do expect Soaring Army to come out soon. Wrathful Skies, Firestorm, all the things. Here's Soaring Army. So I imagine a lot of his casualties here might be friendly fire, but if he has any, let's go ahead and check. Loses 3 demon knights, 3 living statues, and 1 devil. Only kills. Is that 19? So maybe some friendly fire the other way. I'm not sure, or just killing some summons. But yeah, this is how late game fights go. One side brings a full army, the other side just brings some mages, but they're not doing anything crazy with scripting. You'll definitely get results like this. Just not enough stuff. In Pannonia, we've got Irma, who gets ambushed, and let's see how she does. So she's got a Bloodthorn and a Sanguine Dowsing Rod. She gets punched. And then killed. So we lose her. Probably could have given her some bodyguards, but I think I'm okay with this. It doesn't happen too frequently. We do get some gold, we get some more gold, and we get some PD, so very nice events. There's an arena battle scheduled, and we do go ahead and send someone here. So we've got Deadpool the Shaitan. So he's got a Flesh Eater, a Heartfinder Sword, a Lifelong Protection, Pendant of Luck, Copper Plate, and Horned Helmet. So he can do a couple of different kinds of damage. He's got some magic weapons, and he can do a little bit of shock damage. Going up against him is the King of Flames with no gear. Oh, that's cool. I didn't even know about that. So he can create larger fire elementals. So we're going to do Personal Mist form. He's going to do Battle Fury for morale. We're going to do Phoenix Pyre. He's going to do Pillar of Fire. Unfortunately, he Pillared of Fire some of the imps. Then we go ahead and do Air Shield. Fire Shield. And he looks like he goes ahead and runs off. So before my guy even finishes his buff cycle, he goes ahead and flees. So as a result, we get 499 gold and 18 fire gems, which is great. And yeah, and we severely damage the walls and Mountains of Mist. All right, and we buy a Mercenary Assassin. So what are we doing this turn? So we've got our gem mules. We still have our main army. Here's the script. The anti-magic, Gifts from Heaven, Divine Channeling, Holy Avenger, Fanaticism for a little bit more morale. You can see the Gift of Furies spam, Power of the Spheres, on the Communion. So these guys would be Astral 2. Steel Slice Warriors, on as many as we can, to go ahead and paint Weapons of Sharpness. And we've got some Life for Life spam to stop thugs or SCs that might be coming in. It wouldn't stop those marble guys because they're inanimate, but it'll stop most other things. We've also got more Gift of the Furies, Army of Giants, Army Regen, a bit more Life for Life, some Quickening casting, Army of Mist, Arrowfen, Doom, and Flameflesh Army, which this should probably be, oh, this is for the Cold Resist. We don't have as many water mages as we do fire mages. And a little bit more Life for Life. Yeah. And so while we're on this fort, We do have some gem reloads, and we have a couple of Shaitan that are going to start doing some corruption. There's a lot of mages in here, and I wouldn't mind trying to get my hands on some of them. We're also bringing in some reinforcements. So we've got some giants, some troops, and some sacreds, including some stolen Agarthan sacreds. We have very hard-hitting shard glaives, which would be good for destroying statues. Give me 1 second. So these guys are actually really important for trying to kill Agartha. They have a tremendous amount of sieging power at 4.3, and they can also kill statues. So I actually really like these guys for fighting Agartha. Additionally, we have some other stuff coming in. We have a gym mule, we have a couple of Sahir. These guys are pretty nice, these Hin, for sieges, because they are ethereal. So they can go ahead and try to push through the wall archers on a wall or put on a flank. So I do really like these summons. They're hard to mass on this particular playthrough because we have no air gems. So it's just really hard to get more of them. We're not bringing the Adites this time because I want to get in the map move 2, and these guys won't be able to do it on 12 map move. And we've brought in another Flame Flash caster, just in case there's some sort of earthquake interrupt or something like that. And we're also bringing in a couple of vampires, and they're going to be doing Life for Life. One's going to be doing Rush of Strength, and which is another key component of our damage outlays. So a second Rush of Strength caster and some more Life for Life spam. And we're bringing in this guy. And this is going to be for fighting those marble thugs. So he's just going to Phoenix Pyre and get in there. And to try and compensate for the lack of a buff cycle or point buffing, he does have a great Sword of Sharpness. He's also got some resistance to help with cold damage in case an Olm latches onto him. So like one of those water 2 Olms. And he's got some reinvigoration, a Pendant of Luck, and he's just going to get in there and try to do damage. So yeah, I think that's it for the army. In terms of what we're doing this turn, let's see, we're doing some carrion reanimation to get more Bloodhunt Patrol Chaff. We're forging a new Gate Cleaver for another thug. We want to equip as many thugs as we can with Gate Cleavers because they do armor negating damage. We're continuing to get our blood hunting rolling, although we keep kind of waffling on where we want to put it. So this blood hunting is, these patrollers are moving. They're going to come help in Pannonia because it's not quite keeping up. But these 2 Shaitan are going to start moving to the front lines. So I'm thinking we're going to want more troops fighting. We're also doing a Starshine Skullcap, summoning a Marid, and casting Raven Feast, our current Marid. We're continuing to do a lot of manual site searching for particularly Fire 4, Air 3, and Glamour 4. So that's why you see mostly Malika doing that. So like this one here, would have been nice to give her a fire booster this turn so she could have just knocked out all 3, but oh, this one's already at Fire 4. So that kind of makes sense there. You can see some Demon Locusts from the False God, using some of the hereticing stuff to control his Dominion. Pulling a page out of the Hinnom playbook from casting False Pretenders. And yeah, we're having our diseased ones just go ahead and do Serpent Fiends until they die. It gives them something, it just allows them to make some Patrol Chaff. They could also Blood Hunt, but yeah, I just kind of use them to make more Patrol Chaff in case they get an affliction or something, and they just kind of suck at blood hunting. Yeah, I think that's a lot of it. I am starting to set up blood hunting here in Fukan. we've got an ink pot end. It already kind of runs the unrest or the income here. With all this unrest, it spreads deadly diseases. It's got 26,000 pop though, so we may as well blood hunt the province all the way down, is what I'm thinking. So we're going to start sending more and more gulas there, along with undead patrollers and maybe some extra undead commanders to go ahead and hold glamour items to just kind of hide the overall scale of our blood hunting here. We've got, let's see, okay, so this might be the first turn that we're consolidating or attempting to consolidate some of the blood hunting. I did this because I was reading through the Dominion 6 manual, and the first check is if you're blood 3, then there's 3 checks to do a successful blood hunt, and if you're blood 3, you pass the first check. So that's why I've been doing the sanguine dousing rods and the is it the thorn dagger, bloodthorn, and I believe the second check is, I think it's an unrest check, but let me pull it up. Give me 1 second. Okay, I've got it pulled up here. I'm not going to put it on the screen, but yeah, the first check is against their blood level. So if you're blood 3, then it's 10 plus 3 times 30, so 100, which is your percent chance of success on the first check. Then there's a population check versus the province's population divided by 75, which means you need 7,500 population to pass the second check, or at least 7,500 population. And then the third check is an unrest check, which is your percent chance of failure. And that's the province unrest divided by 4. And what that means is, and I believe he can cap out at 400 unrest. And 400 divided by 4 would be 100% chance of failure for the unrest check, which means, and this is, I guess, getting a little mathy, but it means that you probably, at least for me, I don't think I want to go above 200 unrest, because that would be a 50% chance of failure, and I could have those blood hunters go somewhere else. So I do want to consolidate, but not so much. And so to hit 200 unrest, when you guaranteed pass the first 2 checks, what you need to do is figure out how much unrest you get per hunt. And what that is yeah, so that's it's a dice roll, but it's the number of slaves hunted times 3 plus 4. So, and the number of, so from that, we need to know how many slaves we would get per hunt. That's another dice roll, which is d6 plus your blood level. So all of ours are 3. So we've got as much as 9, but on average, it's going to be like 6.5. So we'll call it 7 for the blood level, or not the blood level, the number of slaves per hunter. Now 7 times 3 is 21, plus 4 is 25, but it's a dice roll. So it's a D25, which means on average, you're going to get about 12 unrest for that blood 3 hunter. Maybe 12 to 13. So if we take the 200 target unrest that we want to hit, and we divide by, I don't know, 12.5, then we're going to get about 16 hunters per province, or that sort of efficiency that we're looking for, where we're okay with some of the hunters failing. It might come in a little bit less than 200 unrest. It might come in a little bit more. If there's a couple of failures, it could come in definitely a little bit more. But, you could have a couple of high rolls on unrest, at the beginning, and that could impact a lot of the hunters below them. But we're going to aim for about 15 or 16 hunters per province. Now we have a good deal number of hunters, and the reason why we're doing this is because we're hunting so many different provinces, it's affecting our income a lot. And so even though we've got 1,500 in the difference, often we're losing that 1,500 gold to unrest because taxes are collected before your patrollers patrol down the unrest. So in some ways, your view of your income is artificially high. So we're gonna go ahead and merge some of our hunting provinces. And so we're going to send some of these guys to Ablak. And we've identified Kaseftia because we need to relocate our hunting anyways. So we're going to do Kaseftia, Ablak, Fukan, and Panuonia. These are all high population provinces. We can hunt them in a pretty deep way for at least a few turns. So that's why this guy is building a lab here. We're going to go ahead and move this hunting group. We're going to go ahead and move this hunting group. I know we just moved out these Shaitan, but we're going to move a bunch of them back as well. This group is going to go ahead and leave Dunster. It would no longer pass the second blood hunting check. And we're going to go ahead and 3 red seconds Kaseftia. That's because I care more about my mages than the blood hunting patrol chaff. If I lose that, that's okay, but I do have naps for this whole region, so I'm not expecting anything. So might as well keep my mages safe from indie events. And so we're gathering in Ablak, gathering in Kaseftia, making sure that we have enough glamour items. Now that it's a little bit more obvious that I've broken into blood, my goal with the glamour items is to hide the garnet sorceresses now. So I'm going to focus a little bit less on hiding maybe like a blood hunting thing with, like, say these Shaitan here, because the Shaitan will already hide, but it's okay if they see a bunch of zombies down here. Probably presume. We're gonna send a bunch of these ladies over to Pandemonia, but I do want to hide the garnets. I don't want people realizing just how strong my blood economy is. I just want them, I'm okay with them seeing certain outputs. So, all right. And we're going to go ahead and pick up some patrol chaff. We've got a bunch of unrest here we need to patrol out. So it's a good time to go ahead and get some patrol chaff as we consolidate the blood hunting. So our blood hunting will probably take a big hit this turn, but I think I'll be setting it up for a pretty good future. So that's what we're doing with the blood hunting. In terms of recruitment, we're getting a Malika, a bunch of Janguard. We're building that lab. We're sending some gold. We're buying gems from Asphodel, and that's because our gem economy is terrible. So we're using our gold surplus to buy some gems. Oh no, not Asphodel this time. We're buying gems from Abyssia, who's played by Ballin. So we're buying a bunch of nature gems from him. He gave us a deal we could not refuse. So we're sending him 1,100 gold for those nature gems. This is Janguard, and then we've got some new commanders getting recruited. I think these might be Sahir. Well, if it's not over there, then it's likely over here, which means maybe Caribs, or let's just cycle through. We've got a gnome. Yeah, I think most of it's just that Malika then. Alright, so yeah, most of our spare gold going off to Ballin. Yeah, you can see here. And I think that's most of it here. We can take a look at the globals. Oh, we need to look at the graphs. So we've got Gates of Horn and Ivory from Vanarus. Second Son by Balin, which was the instigation of war with Vanarus. Pyrene has Forge of the Ancients for cheaper forging and Blood Vortex. Gartha has Earthblood Deepwell. I've got a shared Eternal Pyre with Abyssia. There's one open slot. Now, in terms of the graphs, I did pick up magic graphs this turn. I do like seeing my fort counter go up a little bit. Our income has suffered. This is due to Second Son. In terms of gem income, you can see just how far ahead Vanarus, played by Zan, is. So he's nearly double myself and Pyrene, and then just completely dwarfs everyone else. So he's got a tremendous amount of gem income. In terms of blood income, we're right up there with them. So these garnets have enabled us to, in some cases, be the largest blood economy. I think in terms of area under the curve, I would still put Pyrene in first. They've collected more overall, but we're making some moves, and I would say we've been bigger than Vanarus. So in terms of research, though, we have been slacking. We've been mobilizing a lot of mages, and because of how we've been doing our blood hunting, we haven't been able to recruit as many new mages. So our research has suffered. So we've been falling behind in research due to our inefficient blood economy. So hopefully we can improve that. In terms of army size, yeah, army size is still starting to creep up. But yeah, it's kind of cool having some graphs again. So we can see that gem income, blood income, got the research. We're missing some of the mundane graphs. Right. So I think that's it for this one. For turn 74, I'll go ahead and see you in turn 75. Yeah, these guys are coming out to preach. Yeah, have a good one. Later.